I'm going to start the recording and share screen. And where the heck is the slideshow? Happy birthday, Mickey Mouse. I just wanted to do a Epcot won the poll in the group, so that's why it's Epcot themed today. So yeah. So first thing we're discussing is the AMS National Conference. Only 2 people have answered, Karsh and Kelly. So they're the only ones that answered the form. So since the deadline is supposed to be due tomorrow night, we're going to extend it until Sunday, November 23rd, 11:45 p.m. But this is going to be a hard deadline because Brian has to get through to the other Brian and other people to get the funding so we can actually register.
So what answered what question?
I didn't put it up yet because I have to go out and go back in. I was explaining it first before I put the question up.
I got it. Backwards.
Isn't November 23rd a Monday?
Oh, shoot. Did I mess up the date? I mean, that's how my day's going. Whatever that Sunday is. I thought Sunday was the 23rd, but
Anna is correct.
Oh, I meant the 22nd. Thanks, Anna.
Okay, I'll put that in the minutes. No worries.
I'm all over the place today. It's fine. So, yeah, there was 3 people when we did the last poll that said yes, and they haven't filled it out yet. So if you're one of those that said yes, but I don't think anyone actually who said yes is here tonight, please fill out the form confirming it as soon as you can. And if you have any concerns of why you can't fill it out yet, please communicate to one of our officers. We just need to hear if there's a specific reason. We're approachable. We're not scary people. And if you have any information about AMS, take a look at the video on our YouTube channel from last week. We had a couple of us all explaining what AMS was and going over all the registration as being a student member, registering for the conference, all that jazz. And that's the form to fill out again. I'm going to post this PowerPoint to engage after the meeting. And while I put the question up, I don't know if Split and Dr. All have anything they want to say about AMS while I put the poll up.
What do you mean about the conference?
Yeah, the conference, yeah, because we already explained it, but you guys might have more experience.
Will you be filling out the form? I'm not filling out any form.
You don't have to. You just say no, but
I'm going to say no, but.
No.
But you've been to AMS. Do you have anything to say to anyone else that we couldn't convey?
Oh, well, I don't know. I mean, conferences are great.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Then the national conference there's so much. Are you talking about the student conference or
Both.
about the
Both?
Yeah, they're all great opportunities.
Yeah.
Student stuff because it's about networking.
Yep.
Getting, finding out that there's just so much information that's good. So when we were students, I don't remember having big student conferences when we were going through school. So that's kind of a newer thing, and that's awesome. And of course, the national conference, there's so many different sessions, so much is interesting that's going on. So
yeah,
they're just great experiences. It gives you much more breadth gives you a real idea what's going on nationally.
What kind of work and research people are doing. And they have other things besides talks too. They have these special sessions, basically, get invited speakers, keynotes. It's a lot. That's great. I mean, you really get an idea of what's going on at all sorts of levels in our community. If you register, you guys will probably get a really cheap rate. And then, you want to sort of, I forget. I guess it starts when is it scheduled again?
It's starting. The student conference is the weekend. We come back weekend before classes, and the actual conference is the first week of classes. But because it's virtual, they discounted it. Oh.
Yeah, it always conflicts with our first week of classes. But if you check out the schedule, that's the way to do it. You scope it out, try to find things you're interested in. It's really great.
And it's discounted, it's cheap. That's how we can actually do it because we don't have the travel costs. That the whole conference, the registration is only $50, and for the student conference is $20.
Yeah, that's a bargain.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not. That's
until
awesome.
December 1st is the early registration. December 1st for the regular and December 15th for the student. But all right, it hasn't moved from 9 in a while, so I'm assuming 2 people. That's fine. Okay, I'm expecting at least 5 of you to answer to fill it out at some point in life. Cool. Share the screen again. Share. Oh, why is this annoying? Oh, why did I do that? Okay. So, Matt, where are you? That's our historian. That's Matt. Say hi, Matt.
Yeah, me. Hi.
Yeah. So we decided we're going to submit the club poster that's in the link building. I really need to be updated. We're actually going to update it and submit the poster to AMS because they were begging for people to submit posters for clubs. So our historian, Matt, who said hello, is heading it. So if you have any suggestions or anything, direct them to him. It's due at the end of December. I forgot what the LCAC told me because I asked them. At the end of the business, because we want to show what we did during COVID to put on the poster, we're gonna, if you can, I know Janelle can't because she's at work, but if you can turn your camera on at the end, I'll say when, so we can take a picture saying we had like guest speakers during it. So Andrew, you're the lucky one that gets to be on the poster. So we'll do it at the end of the business, but I just wanted to keep the AMS stuff together. So yeah, Matt, do you have anything else you want to say to the people?
No, I'm just so you recognize my face, I'll be the one heading up the poster project. So, hi.
Okay, cool. But I just wanted to put that out there since we made that decision. We're going to do it. Okay, so for next meeting usually is our cloud photo contest, but since we're having a jam-packed guest speakers for next meeting, we're having a whole grad school panel. We're not going to actually run a contest because otherwise it's going to take too long, and we want to maximize the time it takes for them to be able to speak. So we did the pottery night. 9 people showed up. Thank you to those 9 who showed up. We did that. So what we're going to end up doing is we're going to have a bracket contest on our Instagram stories. I'm going to randomize everything together and put them side by side to vote and have a vote off. And whoever ends up winning will be the cloud photo for the month for Twitter. So, and only 1 vote per person, not per account. I'm having some accounts that are voting a lot. For this first one, it's not a big deal, but since for the rest of it, because we had to eliminate 1 person, for the rest of it, it has to be only 1 per person. I'm not counting more than 1. I didn't specify for this one, so I'm not going to count against it. So that's that. And then game day update, since it's closer, we're bringing this back up. We're still trying to plan for Weather Pictionary and Among Us. There will be another poll coming up in a second. We're planning it for Friday, December 6th on Zoom. I didn't put on Zoom, but I want to say it's on Zoom. And if there's any suggestions of any other games, let us know. We can make breakout rooms and you can between whatever games you want to play. It's open to whatever anyone wants. So now let me stop share. Where the heck's the other poll? And there's the other poll.
You want to go to game night? Yeah, fun.
It'll be time, yeah.
I'll say yes. That could be fun. Not letting me vote.
Oh, I don't know why it's not letting you
What kind
vote.
of poll is this?
I don't know. I'm just putting it through Zoom. I'm still trying to learn.
It's because he's a host. Remember, host or co-host.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
I forgot about that. Okay. I forgot. Well, if you actually want to play the Weather Pictionary, just let me know. I know
All
where
right.
to find you. I know where to find you too.
If I'm a host, does that make everybody else a parasite?
Okay, that was really funny. Everyone voted. I should. Okay, good. There's still interest. Okay, cool. I feel better about myself, and I'm not just wasting my time. Cool. So we still have interest in it, so we will continue on with it. Okay, and then, so this is our final meeting is on whatever 2 Wednesdays from now, the 4th. I don't know the calendar. The next meeting we're gonna have grad school.
You've done all these people.
We're having a grad school panel. So we have these 3 grad students coming. We have Lindsay, who graduated in 2017 from University of Maryland. Kevin Nelson, who graduated in 2012, that went to University of Kansas for his master and now at Texas A&M, getting his PhD. And then we have Amanda Sava, who's went to FSU to get her grad degree and just graduated in the spring. So they're coming to give advice on grad schools, applications, experiences, how to pick one, anything you want to pick their brains about. They're going to be doing that 2 weeks from today. So if you have any questions, I will send out another form. You can submit them. But this is what we decided to do for the seniors and juniors are starting to think about it. We wanted to have like a mock one, like AMS usually has a grad school panel. We wanted to have one ourselves with alumni who've been here.
It's the 2nd, not the 4th.
Oh, it's the 2nd? I'm sorry. I don't know dates off the top of my head. I appreciate it.
You're 0 for 2 at the moment.
I can't keep track of dates. I didn't even know today's Wednesday, to be honest. I thought today was Thursday. So
That's okay. You can just make them up as you go along.
exactly. Dates, they're just arbitrary. But yeah, so that's that. That was everything I had. So real quick, anyone who can turn their cameras on can turn their hi Zach can turn their camera on because I want to do the picture real quick. I appreciate all of you. Okay, hold up. Okay. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Got it. Okay. Cool. In worst case, I'll screenshot from it if my picture didn't show up good enough. So thank you for you guys for turning your cameras on. I appreciate it a lot.
Yeah, I took a bunch of screenshots.
Yeah, that's what I'll end up doing. Worst case, I got them on my phone, but if I can't, we'll just do that. Okay. So now, without further ado, Andrew somewhere down there. I'm just gonna pin
I'm
him.
here.
There he is. This is Andrew. Now he has the floor to talk about what he wants. Have fun.
Thanks. So I was invited to speak to you guys about what I do as a meteorologist in the field. Currently down in South Texas in the Rio Grande Valley, if anyone's familiar with that. As far as south as Texas you can go is where I live now. So actually probably about 10, 15 miles from the border of Mexico. If that gives you kind of any perspective of where I'm at. I've been all over the country since I left FIT. I've worked in New York City for a little while, weather producing for Good Morning America and World News Tonight. I've been on air doing meteorology in Rapid City, Eugene, Oregon, and now down here. So I've been around the block, I guess I should say, in different aspects of broadcast meteorology, and really enjoy it. I get to see the country by traveling around and doing different spots, which is challenging in itself, with learning how to forecast in mountainous areas and going back to the tropics and doing winter weather, tornadic development in South Dakota, all kinds of stuff. So so that's my brief story. I know you guys have a lot of questions, so if you guys want to ask them, I'm pretty much an open book.
And I also sent you the couple. I think you.
Yeah, you did.
I
Yeah.
don't remember what I've done and haven't done, to be honest.
So you want me just to go through the list or what?
I guess for now, and if anyone has any questions coming off of it, probably then.
Okay, let me pull up the list here. Hold on. Yeah, let's see. The first question you gave me was, did you always know you wanted to be in broadcast meteorology, or did you decide to go work on the news? For me personally, I kind of always wanted to do weather of some sorts. I mean, it's a very typical story, I think, for most people. When I was a little kid, I always liked to do, look at the clouds and everything like that. Now, originally, I did not go to FIT to become a broadcast met. I was going in aviation meteorology and then changed after my first semester to meteorology. And then I added the communications minor because I wanted to go on a broadcast and not research. Obviously, FIT doesn't have what I call a strong broadcast program compared to other universities. So you kind of have to make it happen if you want to go that route.
Yeah.
So that's what I did is, take different communications classes on the minor side to help me fill that aspect of the journalism stuff.
Yeah.
And getting a strong internship. And that was really key for me. Is actually one of my communications classes. They asked us to talk to somebody in the industry and get how they got to where they are. And I ended up meeting Tony Manoffi at WESH in Orlando, and he offered me an internship on the spot that night. And then I got my experience that way from learning the broadcast software and all that kind of stuff. Because you're going to want to go into broadcasting, getting that internship and getting that reel and learning either WSI Max or Barron Lynx is so key in getting a job in this industry. So the next question you guys asked was, what kinds of internships were you able to do? So I just did that one internship, but I made the most of it, and I asked them to extend it. So I was originally supposed to go from May to July, and I ended up doing it May to December when I graduated. So I just went on the weekends. So a lot of these lot of these places, if you ask them and you're, obviously have good standing with them, they'll be more flexible and want to help you in that kind of a ordeal. You guys can chime in if you're so Josh is free time.
Do they actively seek interns?
Yeah. So like Wesh does, I think they put a thing out to do it, but I know COVID's kind of killed a lot of that stuff because a lot of TV stations are not letting people in the buildings right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that kind of puts a nail in things. I know Anna, you had an issue with that as well, right?
Yeah, I applied and they were like, oh yeah, that would be great to have you. And then a couple months later, they were like, well, we're not letting anyone in the newsroom, so it's going to be kind of hard to get an internship.
Yeah. So yeah, you kind of just got to make it happen if you want to go on a broadcast, which I just went through. What process do you have in constructing a forecast for TV, and what are the top sources for information? So for me, I use a lot of Weatherbell. We have an account with Weatherbell Analytics here, so I use that for model information. But I have a whole forecast sheet, and I literally, when I come into work every day, I fill out the sheet, and it's everything from the climate data from today and tomorrow. It's I'm looking at Moss data. I'm looking at all kinds of just models and just kind of coming together onto the concept of thing. And then the other thing I get in the habit of doing is I read the AFD when I get in from the National Weather Service and kind of get a gist of what they're looking at and seeing if I'm missing at something. If they're looking at, coastal flooding thing, I'm not always sitting there thinking, oh, how much is it going to go up in the dunes today? And they're going to give me hard numbers on that, which is kind of helpful in that regard. And then I bring that sheet and I put it into our weather system. And here we have Barron, which I just learned how to do Barron links in the last couple of months, which is like a whole new system for me. I've been on WSI Max, which is what majority of TV stations have right now, but I think a lot of them are switching back and forth. Barron was known for radar stuff, and now they're getting into the graphics game as well. So it's kind of new and the newest and greatest thing, I guess, but it's complicated to use, I think. But yeah, I mean, you just fill out, it's kind of like a PowerPoint almost. So you're using that information and then you're plugging it into the graphics and learning how to tell a story. Because that's the biggest thing in broadcast is it's not so much, we're not sitting here talking about evection and vorticity and all the other stuff. We may know it, but we're basically trying to talk to grandma. If your grandmother can understand it, then the general public can understand it. And a lot of the audience that you're focusing on is more 40 plus. Because a lot of people, even our age, don't watch the news. And it's and as crazy as the news is nowadays, people try to avoid it. And so basically, weather is one of the biggest driving things that keep people watching the news. So if you actually poll test people, what are the biggest things that you're looking for when you watch the news? Weather's number one usually, and then in the morning it's traffic, because that's all people care about, and then their local, what's ever going right in their immediate community. So we try to keep things hyper local in the broadcast met world. So if let's say I was living in Oregon, I'm not going to talk about the hurricanes down the tropics because it doesn't mean anything to anyone there. But now that I live in South Texas, we just talked about Iota because it's in the tropics. It means something to somebody that lives here. So yeah. Anyone want to expand? I just got off that. You guys asked, how does time management look like as a broadcast med? It's kind of all over the place, to answer that question. Obviously, I have a deadline. Deadlines are key for, especially in news stories. If I get assigned sometimes I get assigned to do a story, like I'm working on how the different communities here are working on flood control, because flood control is a major issue here. We get a typical thunderstorm like you guys get in the summer here on our sea breezes, and they'll dump 6 to 8 inches of rain and the whole streets are flooded. So they're trying to figure out ways to better mitigate the flooding here, and it's how the different communities are working together. So that's something I'm working on right now, and the news piece aside. And you have to meet your deadline. So that's one of the big things of time management is you have to make sure that you're, hey, I have to have this interview done by 2:00. I have to have this thing done by 4:00 and ready to be on air at 6:00. And that's one of the things you get used to. It's a little hectic in the beginning, but as you guys know, doing assignments, you got a deadline. You have to get the paper done by a certain time to be graded. Did I struggle with fear of public speaking and getting your words right? In the beginning, I definitely did. If you ever see my original demo tape, my voice is super high pitched and I'm, a little shaky. And now it's like, it's fun. It's not, honestly, one of the best things about my job is I don't feel like I'm working half the time. I'm going in and I'm just having fun and enjoying myself and doing something that I love. And being able to talk about weather is super cool. And you just get comfortable with it. And you're just having a conversation with you and your anchors, and there's nobody else in the room. So I don't really think about anybody else being there, if that makes sense. What else did you guys ask? Let's see here.
So it doesn't sound like you picked up a South Texas accent yet.
Not yet. No, I mean, I've only been here since July. So
do they pick up on that, or is like everybody kind of used to a Midwest-ish accent or a
certain? Yeah, but I mean, like I got caught the other day. I said dog on air for like a dog walking forecast, and everyone kind of laughed about it. But just certain words from the Northeast come out, but like water sometimes will slip out instead of water. But I mean, it's just kind of you shake it off and you just keep talking and just kind of laugh at yourself, and everybody else is fine with it. Somebody asked what's my favorite aspect of Broadcast Met. I mean, it's just like I said, it was just having fun. And then somebody asked what classes do I still use. I actually had to think about that a lot. Weather briefing was probably the biggest one for me, and then the journalism classes. But I mean, I still use a lot of the synoptic stuff on a daily basis, just me forecasting. But that's about it, because Broadcast Met, you're not using the math so much. I mean, I kind of just show it to joke around with people and like, oh, look at the math we have to learn. But that's about that's about it.
Yeah,
but no,
do you cooperate with the Weather Service in any ways, like when it comes to warnings or how does that relationship?
Yeah, how's your report?
Yeah, it depends on the station. I mean, here we have a pretty good relationship with them, and I have a history of having a pretty good relationship with them and calling them to ask them, hey, we're trying to figure out this for a graph, like some statistic that they have in their records books of when's the last time it snowed at this criteria, and they'll look it up for us for a graphic. But I mean, warnings, I mean, we have a pretty good system. If they put a warning out, we have a crawl that automatically goes on the bottom of the screen, and we'll put out their stuff. But I know like there's certain markets like in Oklahoma that issue their own tornado warnings and all that.
Right.
Stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that's just like a big hoopla. But no, down here it's pretty normal.
Okay.
Kind of nice.
So I know you've only been there since July, but how's the celebrity status? Do you get stopped and people say,
not as much here. In Oregon, it was everywhere. I'd be in the grocery store. Hey, can we take a picture with you? And the funniest one was I was leaving Target, and this guy came up to me in the parking lot, and he's like, looked like all dreads and gauges and everything, just somebody that you would not think watches the news. And he comes to me and he goes, oh yeah, my girlfriend watches you every morning. He goes, can I take a picture with you? I was like, yeah, sure. And so I take a picture of him. He goes, all right, man, rock on. And I just kind of walked away. I was like, all right, cool.
That's funny.
That's cute.
But I mean, you just kind of be humble about it, and just I mean, I don't feel like I'm anybody special, if that makes sense. I just kind of am me, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, but hold on a second. I can show you guys the studio here. They just finished the show, so hold on. Let me put my mask on.
Really nice.
Give you guys a quick tour of this place. So this is our newsroom. They already have the Christmas tree up. Hold on.
Quiet.
This side of things. And here's that. So there's our green screen.
Yeah.
And then there's our weather center. And then they're having their post-show meeting here with our producers and anchors. There's Brian, our chief.
Is that the AMS crew?
Yeah, it's the AMS.
All right. I'm getting ready to pay my dues. It's later.
I don't know if you heard him.
I just renewed mine a couple days ago.
Yeah, he's a funny guy. But yeah, this is the link system. So this is like different than I've used to. So it's literally like each one's like a slide. So like I was just working on this one earlier, just with the tropical threat. They just kind of died out on us, but so there's our 7-day dry as a bone here.
And warm.
But yeah, nice. 79 is normal now, so we're above normal temps. But yeah, I mean, there's our studio. This is where I spend most of my time. But yeah, anybody else have any other questions?
So what's some of the local weather idiosyncrasies that you had to get attuned to moving there? I mean, besides you're used to sea breezes, of course, being in Florida for so long.
Yeah. Just trying to think. I mean, honestly, it's very similar to the Melbourne climate, except you're not dealing with dual sea breezes. I mean,
do you have does convection form in preferred spots? Do you have
It just depends. I mean, certain days we'll get it right along the coast, and then some of the days it's in probably an hour inland. It just depends on the day and how strong those east winds are coming off the Gulf. Yep. But I mean, the biggest thing down here is there's not a whole lot of motion in the atmosphere, so you get these storms that just sit, and that's the biggest thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So, Brian, you want to say hello?
Hello?
Hold on. Can you hear him?
Yeah.
2, 3. Hey, everybody. How's it going?
Hey.
Very well.
We're good.
Cool. Now, which group is this?
This is Florida Tech's AMS group.
Ah, okay. Heavy hitters. All right. Good stuff.
So there's
Hey. Well, I hope you all are having a good time and getting ready for more shutdowns and all that with COVID.
Yeah, you guys are getting hit pretty hard over there right now.
Some of the state, yeah.
Yeah.
It's only a matter of time.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're just wanting to get through this semester alive.
Yeah, that's the thing. My daughter's going to be attending A&M Business School in the fall, and I'm so hoping that it's going to be back to normal by then. So,
let's hope so.
It's looking like it will be.
yeah. Now, you guys, my son's in law school at Houston, and he said it hasn't been much of a problem. Has it been much of a problem on that end?
As educators, the delivery system's a little wacko. We're dealing with people in the class and remotely at the same time, so it's a challenge.
Yeah, it's not optimal.
Yeah. Well, I guess we just got to get through it.
Yep.
Anyway, y'all have a good evening.
So, Andrew, what's your market size there?
What are we, 70 something now?
Yeah, 76.
76, yeah, something like that. I started out at 178 and then went to 115, and now we're at 76, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So slowly working the which is pretty typical.
Yeah.
It looks like Kelly had a question in the chat. She asked, "Do you spend more of your workday independently or working as a team?"
We're pretty much. It depends on the day. If it's more of a we'll call it severe day, it's more of a team. You know, we'll team coverage. Brian will go on one screen. I'll go on a different screen. Or I'll be out in the field, or vice versa, like that. If it's just a normal day, other than maybe someone in there helping produce some graphics, it's pretty much you're by yourself. Especially on the weekends, I'm by myself, unless something's crazy going on.
Do you ever sit there and go, I can't believe they're only calling for a high 85. I think it's going to be 90. What were they thinking? Did you get into those discussions?
No, yeah, no, there's definitely days like that. Where you just got to stick to your guns. And if that's what you're going to do, that's what you're going to do. Yeah. But I mean, there's certain days that I bust my forecast. Like last Sunday, we had a cold front coming in the morning, and I went 70 something, but it was still 88 degrees out ahead of the front. And then the front came in and it dropped.
Yeah,
but you guys know how that goes in the.
Yeah, there's nothing more humbling than forecasting.
Oh, it's terrible some days, and then the days you get it, you're like, yes. But I'm not gonna lie, there's days I've lost sleep over. What is it gonna do? You're sitting up at 2 a.m, looking at the 0Z runs, and you're like pulling your hair out.
Yep. Now I know it's COVID era. When you get outside of that, do they have you do more stuff out in public or public service stuff?
Yeah. I mean, So there's plenty of times where they just even have to go to dinners that are just not even weather related, just to show your face, and get that community outreach. Or there's events where they're going to have you judge, I don't know, the bake sale, just to get you out in the community. And that's the biggest thing is getting relations with the community, whether it be, through let's go hand out weather radios or let's just go show your face at an event and shake some hands and kiss some babies.
PR is important.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Especially in this industry, it's all about, it's weird. Like, so they had this lady come in and teach us how to do makeup. Like, I know how to do my makeup from the years of doing it, but then she had me do it some other way and change my hairstyle and all kinds of stuff.
Nice. Did you get a voice in that?
No, not at all. They said, do this or else.
Yeah.
But that's part of the business,
It is.
You gotta be flexible.
Yeah.
And if that's the worst thing I can complain about, then I'd have no complaints.
Right.
So, anybody else have any questions?
I have one more question.
What's up?
This is a typical. Would you have done anything differently at FIT now that you know? Or I would have pretty much done what I did.
I mean, me personally, I probably would have studied it a little bit harder, but other than that.
Yeah, outside that, your choices for classes.
No, not really. I mean, I feel like I did everything I could there. I mean, there's obviously I wish we had sometimes some of the software stuff for broadcast, but that's about it.
Yeah. I hear students say that. I mean, even schools that are more like even Millersville and Plymouth, these other schools that are primarily undergraduate students have the same issues, right? They're not. Yeah. College is not really job training directly; it's only indirectly.
Right. It teaches you how to learn in some regards.
And how to think a little bit, right?
Unless you specifically have a broadcast program where you could practice those kind of things.
Right. And that's why FIT, one of the things that, was so key for me was finding that internship and getting that stick time.
Yeah, definitely. Okay.
I actually have a question now. I just thought.
Go for it. Yeah.
So since you worked in other markets, which one was your favorite market? Like, do you like forecasting like the Portland weather better or Texas? Like, what's your preference?
They all have their own aspect. I I loved Rapid City because it was such a challenge, because you had the Black Hills just throwing a whole mess of things. And so you had the winter storms, and then you also had the severe weather, and then you just had the overall wildfire stuff. So like one of the things like I got involved in big time in South Dakota was wildfire stuff, and got myself certified as a wildland firefighter so I can go on the ground with these guys. And that's something I brought out to Oregon with me. So I basically was on the fire line with half these guys, which was, it's all weather related because people don't.
Oh yeah.
And it's one of the things that I became very passionate about is wildfire weather. So of places, it's probably Rapid City, but I mean, Oregon was tough too because you had the Cascades so you had the Coast Range is one, the Coast Range, then you had the Valley, and then you have the Cascades. So it's 4 different weather patterns all in one. So we had 4 7-day forecasts, which, is kind of crazy in itself to get, oh, here we go, get the next one. There's the next one to go work your way through on air. But it was so different from, you can go 50 miles and you're in a whole different climate from, the desert of the other side of the Cascades out in Central Oregon. And so that was challenging itself. Everything's got its own little niche to it. And you got to once you figure out the niche, you're better off. Anything else? Cassandra, anybody?
Everyone's apparently quiet.
I know.
It's strange.
So what's your advice to students then that want to go into broadcasting in terms of?
Well, I see one of the things that I wish I did was had more internships and got more stick time early on in my career. So maybe like my sophomore year, got an internship, because I don't know if you guys had it still, because that summer doing field projects, I couldn't have done an internship then. And so then I had to wait till my senior year to do it. So that was one of the things I wish I did, just to get more real experience. But I mean, I just got, I'll be honest. I mean, I got super lucky to have Tony Manofi as my mentor, and he just took me under his wing, and he still calls me every 2 weeks to just check up on me to see what I'm doing, what I'm working on, and what my goals are.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So getting a mentor is huge. And no matter what, if you're going broadcast or research or whatever, have someone to talk to and pick their brain. Any advice? Oh, so Kelly just asked, any advice for opportunities? Oh God, it's tough. It's really tough. And Anna just went through this, trying to get a job in broadcast. You got to make your reel on your own almost. And you almost make a PowerPoint slide or get someone to send you graphics and talk over them. Really tough. I feel bad for you guys, to be honest with you.
I applied to 14 stations in 2 weeks. So quantity is the answer.
Whoa.
She blasted it out.
It's true though. I think I applied to maybe 100 places when I first started out. And I ended up, got lucky and found something in New York City behind the scenes, and then I just happened to meet somebody, and then they got me a job out in Rapid City. So it's making those network connections is just, it's massive. I mean, and you realize just how small the meteorology community is.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah.
Who knows who and everything.
Yeah. Don't piss anybody off.
Yeah. No kidding.
That's where the AMS conferences come into play. Cough, cough.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the broadcast conference is usually separate from the national conference, isn't
There
it?
is,
Yes,
but
yeah.
a lot of broadcasters still go to the national, because I met a whole bunch of them into AMS.
But they do have a separate broadcasters conference.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And there's also NWA.
Yep.
They have their
Right.
own conference too.
Yep.
So, but yeah, no, getting your seal, that's something I'm working on actually right now, is getting my AMS seal. I passed the written test, which is, if you're gonna do it early because you'll forget half the stuff that they ask you about, and then you have to do your tapes, which is I'm just submitting now for my seal.
Well, good luck.
Yeah,
Thank you.
break a leg.
Yeah, it's that test was brutal.
Really?
It's basically everything you learned in synoptics, but you haven't done in 4 years.
Ooh.
So yeah, I do flashcards and all kinds of memory tools to take the test. And then I ask you like some weird things about like not weather related, like astrology and stuff like. It was just some of the questions you're like, huh?
That's weird.
That's odd.
That's very odd.
Yeah. It's if you ever want to humble yourself, just look up the AMS broadcast practice test, and it'll humble you real quick. So, anything else, guys? Otherwise, I'm gonna go take my dinner.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
thank
Yeah.
you.
It's great
No worries.
seeing you. Yeah.
Yeah, always.
Yeah, awesome, man. We're proud of you.
Thank you. So, all right, take care.
Cool. So, all right, we're ending the meeting. Thanks all for coming. 2 weeks will be our last meeting for the semester. So I'm gonna end it now. Have a good one, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Later, Gator.